You know what it is, black and sturdy, black and sturdy, black and sturdy, black and sturdy.
You know who it is, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, Ode Maurice, Ode Maurice.
Maurice Ode, Maurice Ode.
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Black and sturdy, black and sturdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Black and sturdy,
black and sturdy, black and sturdy, black and sturdy.
This is the Black and Sturdy podcast with Ode and Maurice. Why did you push those?
What did I?
You pushed those.
Yeah, I did.
Why did you do that? I had already pushed them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, now everybody in the audioverse can hear us singing the theme song over top of the theme song.
It just so happens that this time they got a little extra special spice. I thought they weren't. I could hear myself, so I thought it wasn't.
No, they were lit up.
First of all, this board
is there. You go.
Well, it all looks lit up to me. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't see that you.
Well, that's unfortunate. I even reached over and did it.
I didn't see that. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention to your pushing the button.
Anyhow, we're off to a rough start.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
I don't feel now.
Ridiculous.
It's Wednesday, people.
It's Wednesday.
Okay.
Hold on. First off, thank you and welcome to the Black and Sturdy podcast, Wednesday edition. Watch out Wednesdays.
Watch out Wednesdays.
I, of course, am Maurice.
And I'm Odie.
And together we're just a couple of nerds watching movies and listening to music and doing all sorts of shit live on Instagram. Again,
live.
If you're listening to this on the audio podcast, we do this every Wednesday. Definitely follow us at the Black and Sturdy podcast or Black and Sturdy podcast. I believe that's our Instagram handle. Whatever. But follow us and you can tune in to see us live as we stream on Instagram.
And as you can see, sometimes there are minor shenanigans.
Yeah, they don't have to be.
You have shenanigans as well. So we are all part of walking down Shenanigan Road. So
Yours could have been easily avoided.
Oh, shush! And can we start the episode?
Yes, we can.
Mr. Grumpy.
All right. Welcome to Watch Out Now, where we review a piece of media every Wednesday. This week, we are doing our continuation of the limited edition Netflix series Kaleidoscope. We are working on episode... Is this 4 or 5? Episode 5.
Cinco.
Episode 5, Violet.
Yes.
And I will say this. I was getting tired of Kaleidoscope as of last week. Mm-hmm. Finally, we're getting answers.
So
this whole thing has been dragged out where they're talking around in circles, being vague about like the wheres and whys and how people are related and connected and how things like went down. Finally, we have some answers in this episode that took place
24 years prior. What is that?
Before
99?
the heist. I guess.
Can you do it on do it over here? It's the heist is I think what 20 it's supposed to be 2022. Do it in your little calculator.
Why am I doing this on my calculator?
I don't have my phone. Just do it right there. Just search it and it'll come up.
Oh my god.
This is not hard.
You couldn't have done this
No,
before we started recording?
You didn't have to do all that. All you had to do was type it in here. Okay. 20.
Oh my goodness.
23 minus.
I think it's taking place in
years 1999, which is what I said.
I think Kaleidoscope takes place in 2022.
Okay.
So 98.
It's in the late 90s.
Okay. Doesn't look that
so
much
this
like
was
the 90s.
okay. When I was writing down some clues, first of all, let me tell you how.
No one has a cell phone.
I'm old.
Mm-hmm.
When I
yes, you are.
when I was like, 30s. When I thought 24 years later, I did the math. I first came up with 1979 because I was like, 20 years. That's just. But in reality, that's not been like.
That's not how math or time works.
Clearly, but
yes.
when I think about 20 years, because of when I used to think about 20 years. It's like, oh yeah, that's the 70s.
What, were you thinking about 20 years ago? 20 years ago?
Did we not have content in films, things that happened?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's the only way that
when
makes sense.
Someone used to
like,
say 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
In 1999.
Only in the 90s would that make sense.
Why are you being purposefully belligerent?
Obtuse?
I'm not being obtuse. I was just
saying. What's up, real queen?
Hello, real queen. I'm just saying.
Oh, you're already gone.
That initially, when I was thinking of 20 years, I was not thinking.
It doesn't even look like the 70s.
I know that, but it was before we started watching it.
Before we started watching
it, literally does it not open and say Violet 24 years?
Yes,
so could it not have before I saw anybody and what they were wearing or what they were doing? It opens up with him in a dark alley.
In your mind's eye, 20 years ago was the 70s.
Yes.
Now.
You're freaking.
Do you know how old
you're being
you are?
Frustrating. Clearly, that is the point that I was literally just making. That I forget we're in the 2000s like money people.
This is moving around.
This is a running joke on Twitter about when people think of 20 years, they don't think about that we're in the 2000s because yes, we are, but 14 does also feel just like yesterday.
Do you think that you're a 14-year-old girl?
In the blink of an eye. Anyway, continue on.
You are
right.
Very much not. I will let you know that.
Continue on.
Sure.
Never mind. Continue on. I don't want to belabor this point.
I didn't want to get into it at all. Keep going. Go.
There's nothing else for me to say.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about this episode.
You can start your portion.
That took place 34 years ago.
Yes.
24 years ago. So yeah, we finally get some background as far as how Roger and Leo know each other. Back in the day, they were Ray and Graham. And they were like sort of like a con man / thief hybrid tag team together, where Graham would set up the mark, as you were, and lure him away from the safe while Leo cracked the safe, or Ray, or whatever name they're going by. They're going by Ray and Graham right now. They're Roger and Leo in the present day, but this is back in time before they changed their names. So it opens with them, showing how cool of friends they are, their dynamics, and you can already tell that like of the two. Ray or Leo has the sort of shorter end of the straw. His sort of thing is more like risky. You know what I mean? Like he has to like, he's the one climbing in and out of windows. He's the one that's opening the safe. Can you contribute, please?
I was waiting for you to finish it. You were just going on, so I didn't want to.
You could jump in at any time. Oh my God. Have you not done any of these before? 4 episodes of this already, and there's no.
I have such a bad memory.
Oh my God!
I can't always remember things, so I just had to look back at my notes and remember what I wanted to talk about.
Terrible person. So this is just gonna be dead air because now I've already done my thing.
Is Robert? Do you know the director, Robert Townsend?
Yes, Robert Townsend. I looked it up. Robert Townsend was the director of this episode. It is the Robert Townsend that you're thinking of. Yes, from Meteor Man.
Yes.
That's.
I think that this was a great episode to watch during Black History Month because, well, I thought that was Robert Townsend, but also it was just a very black episode, both good and bad, in both good and bad ways.
I wrote down that this is the racism episode.
Yes,
because like it's pointed out many times throughout the episode.
Race is a major component, which is why when Leo or Ray having the short end of the stick is even more poignant because Graham is this white man who is able to reap the benefits of Ray's hard work while taking minimal risk, which you can clearly see at the end of the episode, but we'll get there. Also, if you didn't know this, I think you mentioned it. Spoilers!
I think we have a warning drop.
Yes, well, no one pressed it, so
well,
I was just making an alert sound.
Give me
warning.
There we go.
Spoilers. That I won't. We're not going to do that yet, but at the end, it'll come back around.
Wait, so we just did the warning and the spoilers?
No, I'm telling them that we have spoilers now.
Oh, okay.
So that when they continue listening in or watching.
If you haven't seen the episode already, go back and watch it.
They'll know that they're spoilers. Or you can just be spoiled and go back and watch it.
Yeah,
some people like to read the last page of the book before they get to the beginning.
That's how I've been treating The Last of Us.
Am one of those people.
Yes.
But okay, now the reason why I say this
is that why you don't finish books? Because you've jumped and read the thing beforehand? Is that how that works?
No, it's because I'm neurodivergent, and some books don't hold my attention long enough for me to finish them. Would you like me to give you any other reasons? Because I've finished many books in my life, and there's some that are just really boring, and I can't get through them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my brain just doesn't really latch on, and it takes me a longer time to finish them.
Okay.
So I go piece by piece. So maybe it'll take me 3 years. Maybe it'll take me 4. Who knows? But it'll get finished eventually.
Sure.
I say this is the blackest episode. 1, because of Robert Townsend. 2, because he has a we finally see Hannah's mother, Lily.
Beautiful
woman. They were a beautiful black family.
Her name is Lily.
Her name is Lily, and just like you don't know what she does for work, but you know that they are living a very like picturesque, not like in a sense of wealth, but like they have a lovely home.
They say in the episode she's like a bookkeeper or an accountant.
No, she is an accountant, but yeah. I don't know if when we start out, I don't know if she's supposed to be a bookkeeper then, or if she just like that's a skill she has. My impression was maybe that she was maybe like a housewife and wasn't necessarily working that much, or maybe a part-time worker, because when further down the episode, he's just telling her about how he's thinking about going straight. Yeah. And she mentions the bookkeeping, but in the beginning, I don't know if that she actually had a job or if it was just like, I'm taking care of the kids and the house, and like they look like, I don't know where.
I think they're in New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah,
because the license plate said New Jersey.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Also, the actress playing Lily is the incomparable Robin Lee.
Yeah, she's been in so many things.
Yeah, she was in Hitch. She was
Security. In Hitch.
50 Shades of Grey. Okay. But either way,
I don't remember her in there, but she's a great actress.
Never saw that movie, and I never will.
And the woman, the woman they have, the girl they have playing Hannah as a little girl is super cute.
I disagree. And not that she's not cute, but like I don't know if she's super cute. She's just like, okay, she's a kid. They got a competent kid to play Hannah.
She's a super cute kid.
I don't know about super cute. At that age where they're not cute. Like
there's nothing
like 8 or 9.
Literally nothing that's not cute about this little girl.
No, like
she has as cute twist.
The minute that they turn 8 or 9 and they start
she has a cute little face.
They start saying no when you tell them to go do something, or saying why. Like that's not cute to me.
Like 4 years old. That doesn't stop their face from being cute. That just makes them a little bit more obnoxious.
No, at 4 years old, it's cute because they just don't understand the world. At 8 and 9, they should know better and they should listen to the fucking rules.
They still don't know the world.
Like, but I want to listen to the loophole.
And they have no impulse control, and they're still going to ask for things they want because they are still babies.
Yeah, she broke the rules and got chocolate pie. Like
the woman gave her chocolate pie.
Oh, please.
She's a child with no impulse control. She got it. They didn't pay for it.
She did one thing right in this entire episode, and that was following her father's instructions at the end of the episode, which we'll get into later.
Anyway, they have a beautiful black family. They seem to be like loving, healthy, all around. Like he's a great role model. Mm-hmm. He and his wife have a very like honest and like vulnerable relationship,
which was surprising. She knows that he is a thief.
Yeah, and so the job that they're doing in the beginning, like you said, was in Chicago, and I don't think I heard you mention this, but he almost gets suffocated in this airtight safe because the guy's about to walk in. He has to hide somewhere. He goes in there.
He almost got Jasoned.
And
from The Good Place. That's how Jason from The Good Place died.
Yes, that was how he died. So his partner Roger gets him out, but like Roger doesn't either that he doesn't notice how shaken up or like the look of like death that was in Leo's or Ray's eyes, but he just kind of like jokes it off and is like, oh man, that could have really sucked. You almost screwed. And like just very oblivious to everything, which also kind of ticks into his personality in general as we see as the episode goes on. But it's obviously very scary for Ray, which kind of pushes him to say, I think he was having doubts about being in the life before, but I think that definitely scared him of like, oh, I got to get home to my wife and my daughter, and shit like this is not okay. On top of the fact that like he's risking his life, risking his liberty while Graham is over here doing coke and
fucking models, like
fucking models
so
at
like,
parties.
This is what doesn't make it does make sense to me, but this is how inequality it works in this fucking episode. Roger gets to like con the white dude that they're stealing from, and they bring girls back over and they making martinis, and presumably he's having sex with these women in order to keep the cover going, like because there were two women that came back to the apartment, hotel, house, whatever you want to call it, so he would have to like keep the cover, and like
he's at least getting a handy. He may not be having sex. Maybe they're just gonna be like hanging out, do some coke, and like go home. But
he's definitely getting more than a hand. He's either getting nothing, or because he has a girlfriend later on, or somebody that he brings over.
I'm talking about with the women at the party. I'm not talking about later. I'm saying like
no. I'm saying is he's doing dirt. He's doing it like.
I mean, I'm sure sometimes they can't really. They don't have the time for that. Just like something quick. And then they get out. I mean, he does. Maybe he doesn't want to stay there a long time.
There's nothing more upsetting than a quick hand job.
I mean, I guess he's trying to keep his cover. It's not trying to be in 50 Shades of Grey, so it doesn't really matter. He's just trying to get in and get out and get the jewels and not necessarily get his rocks off. Well, he's trying to get his rocks off, but not those. That's just an added bonus. But even still, if someone's touching your peen after a long day of heisting, that's still better than having to jump out of freaking windows.
My point is
stuck in
that
airtight
it's not
safes.
a long day for Roger because Roger's taking the minimal risk. But ultimately, Leo gets out of the life and he opens up an auto repair shop.
Yeah, it's called Rocket. Was it Rocket? Rocket Motors? Rocket Family Motors, I think.
Yeah, and it is not doing well. It's been open for 8 months, and the only time people come in is just to get keys made. Which, again, like, okay. He took out a small business loan to open up this thing.
And he also used half the money from his
heisting.
Yeah. My
thing is, how is he doing taxes when all his income is fucking illegal?
It might be because he said before when he was talking to Ava, because Ava makes an appearance.
We see young Ava.
She's fencing products, but she's also in law school. And she said a good quote: "If you live beneath the waves, you have to learn to swim with the fish." I think it was. I think that made sense. Like, if you're going to be doing crime, you need to learn how
to do it really
well, and how the people who would be coming after you might be looking. Which, honestly, more of you criminals or people who want to do criminal activity, start
be
thinking
smart.
about that.
Be like, well, I would say be like Stringer Bell, but no spoil. I won't spoil that. Maybe that would be the next. No, dear God, never mind. I was gonna say maybe that would be the next thing that we watch.
No, we said we're gonna watch that, but it can't be. That's like such a long, arduous.
It would have to be like season by season.
Yeah, and
as opposed to
and every week. Oh, it's such a dark show. Even trying to get through one episode just makes me sad. It's a good show.
Sadder than The Shield.
The Shield is so. First of all, the script is so fucking stupid. That it's, even though
I mean, this last season has ramped up, though.
No, this last season has definitely been better. They're not calling black guys jigaboos or whatever they usually are saying.
They are saying bamboo cage a lot.
Yes, there we go. That was the really crazy thing. I'm just like, I can't believe this was a show put on TV when they're really, really racist. I mean, they're racist and problematic to everybody.
It was inspired by real events.
No, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were saying that and worse. It was not surprising how racist they were. Racist cops. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's very true to life.
Who would have thought? Okay.
But anyway.
Back to Kaleidoscope. Violet.
He is. What is it called? Oh yes, be smart. And so he said to her he was going to funnel it through a business. So that's where I was thinking I thought that maybe he had a business or maybe the wife has a business, unless he was saying I will cycle it through a business, as in I'll start one. And that's why she was like, this is a big bust. You could do a lot with this money. You have a family. Nobody else that I work for has any of those things. So think about it. I feel like that's what really kind of sparked the idea for him. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, as you said, this auto parts company is not doing well.
No, it is
for
not.
whatever reason. And so his wife takes a job, and they kept saying at the club. And now
you were thinking like at like a nightclub.
I was thinking not a strip club. I was just thinking maybe she was doing work. Like she could be doing bookkeeping work at maybe a bar somewhere. But then at dinner they had talked about how there was the way that Ray and Graham met was Ray's family got membership in the club in probably like the 60s or something, but were poor and had to like work so hard to like get in. But the funny thing is that he says Ray was like, I stuck out so much there with those rich white douchebags or whatever. Meanwhile, Ray was there as a worker. What's his name? Roger sounded a lot like Harry Styles at the Grammys when he was God. People like me just don't win. Don't win these things or whatever bullshit he said.
And he probably shouldn't have.
That's how he sounded, so aloof and just acting like he was so, what is the word, ostracized just because he was poor. But at least you would have been allowed in. So I feel like that was the same. He has
blind spotting, essentially. Like he doesn't see like how his like actions or he doesn't see his whiteness.
No,
and
he does not.
And this definitely, and again, this is the blackest episode. This is the racist episode. This kind of plays into a part when Lily has to bring their child Hannah to the club, and Hannah is, I guess, looking around through the hidey hole.
She's being curious. She's 9.
She gets in trouble. White guy is grabbing her, dragging her, yoking her up.
And if she had been
fires Lily,
a little white girl, and whose mom had worked in. I mean, on one hand, if she had been a poor white girl, he probably would have been, rough with her or whatever as well, because poor people and black people are generally treated really bad in these places. But I think that because she was a little black girl, he automatically was like, oh, she's stealing, or she's trespassing. Meanwhile, she's just being curious. All you have to do is say, hey, can't be in here. Or even if he would just say to the mom, she can't be like in these spaces, these are private, etc. But to be dragging a little girl down the hallway and then telling her parents this is not some black ghetto cookout, they would have had to surgically remove my foot from his ass. Because at that point, you should have already known they're going to fire you.
Yeah.
So then if I'm already fired, what's then stopping me?
Yeah. From now catching the case.
I mean, hey. It was...
Oh, man, I can't do that.
Damn it.
Ugh.
Such a good song.
It is a good song.
But, like, yeah, I don't. That was just one of the things where I wrote down twice in my notes at that scene where they're dragging Lily, and at the end that black girls have to learn how to grow up and like face the world at such a young age.
You said black girls, black kids, black boys and girls.
Are we talking about a black little girl right now?
Yeah, but I'm saying that like
we know that
all kids do, all black kids do.
Are you all lives mattering?
I'm all black lives mattering.
Are you?
I see your all lives and say all black lives.
But
all
nobody
black kids
said that bad
boys. You said little girls, and I was just including the boys.
A little girl. The boys are always.
But you were talking about that little girl. You were saying all black little girls need to learn. And I'm like, black little boys need to learn too.
Not a black woman, who was a black girl, to be able to speak to
you are obfuscating the argument right now. Yes, you are.
You're trying.
All I'm doing is correcting you by saying black kids need to learn. Yes, well, I did.
You didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You didn't.
Yeah, I did.
You could have said that at your portion when I was done.
But then you could easily have moved on. You could have just kept going. But you decided to make this into something that it wasn't.
Okay, if you want all lives matter,
nobody's all lives. I said black. You can't all lives and say black kids.
Have to grow up early.
Have to grow up early.
And it was very obvious in this episode, which was very unfortunate to see, because she couldn't just be out here giggling, bouncing around, being curious. She had to be seen as a little target.
Yes, a threat.
But I think that from there, obviously,
this inspires Ray and Roger to rob the club of their auction from auction night.
Do you think that Ray would have robbed them during auction night if it wasn't for Graham telling him that he was like in such big trouble and $3,000 in the deep?
He was like, "No, I'm out." He's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but I'm running this auto repair shop."
I think that if it wasn't for him putting that in his mind, he would have maybe been pissed off. Not saying he wouldn't have been angry or tried to retaliate in some way, but he would not have tried to concoct this whole plan. And who knows? Maybe this would have happened. He would have called Graham up and said, "Hey," but I think that him already knowing that he had a partner in crime for this is something that led him to coming and like making the decision that he was going to do this thing and go betray his wife and her trust to steal these diamonds out of revenge, when I think he would have probably just taken a less drastic.
The timing of it is contrived. They find out that there's an auction, and at the same time, no. They find out that there's an auction first. Ray kind of turns him down, even though Roger really needs this, because he's in a hole like $300K, and then that's when all the racist shit happens with his wife getting fired and his child getting all yoked up. I think that it's a little bit contrived, but I do think that Ray would have tried to get some sort of revenge on the club some way. It just so happened that the auction was the way to do it. So they infiltrate. Both of them infiltrate the club, and obviously because he's a black man wearing a tuxedo, they assume that he's a part of the wait staff. He
slipped right in.
Yeah, they assume he's a part of the wait staff.
Carrying quiches. I would have been eating those quiches. I love mini quiches.
I don't.
I love them.
Is it eggs or cheese?
It could be a mixture.
Okay.
It is egg, and then they have cheese, and sometimes cheese and spinach, or cheese and sausage, or onion and cheese. You don't like them?
Nah, I love eggs. I just am not a fan of quiche.
I love quiche.
No.
I think it's the little pie crust. It's like the flaky crust with the egg.
I think
together.
it's because of the pie crust. I'm just like, this is like an unnecessary pie. This is a little unnecessary pie. Why is this like? And I want my pies to be fruity. This is like cheesy and bullshit, and it's mostly dough. Like I don't care
think
for it.
I love pies of all kinds. So a little egg pie is
okay. You said it. You said you like pies of all kind.
I was not
Apple pie,
even
cherry pie,
thinking
pecan
about
pie,
what you're talking about.
cash rules everything around me.
I was talking about edible pies or food.
Can be
Pies you buy in the bakery. Okay. Gosh.
Okay, she doesn't matter.
You're
while they're doing the height. Okay, sorry. Here, go.
So remember in the first episode, or whatever the episode was, where we find out that Hannah's his daughter, and they meet Squirrel, and we do find out why he calls her Squirrel, which was actually really cute. He said she used to say that she's a tricky little squirrel because she was very smart and knew how to get things done, and like a squirrel is tricky, whatever. But in that episode, she says what you did to my mother. Like she clearly makes it known that something happened with her mother and him, and that she felt he was responsible. And so we kept wondering what it was. We find out in this episode, finally.
While Roger and Leo are heisting, Lily gets called back. First off, she gets called back to work on the accountant books by the people that just fired her.
And look at this mom going to work, even though she had to swallow her pride.
Absolutely not. I would have been like, you can go fuck yourselves for yoking up my child and being racist to my son. You said that this isn't a ghetto.
Daughter.
And yet you need... My daughter, whatever. Sorry, my bad. I'm heated right now. You're yoking up my child, and you called me ghetto, and you fired me, and you were racist to my.
And now you're asking for my help because Becky got in a fucking stupid car accident when she's not even reliable. Talking about she didn't want to talk shade about the other woman, but she keeps getting into a lot.
I would have at least been like, "Can you pay me up front?
Can you pay me double? You want me to come out so bad?
Yeah.
Triple?"
I have to get a babysitter. I have to call Beverly and her drunk ass to come watch my child.
No. I'm not sitting here looking at you, and then you're trying to tell me as if I've never done this shit before. But unfortunately, when you're a mom and you're a parent and you're a wife, you sometimes will make sacrifices that go against what you want because your family is in need, and the family was in need. She was the one that did the accounting for the store. So she knew how badly they needed the money, and she was going to do whatever it took. And I mean, like, we know that women have done whatever they needed to do to make their black moms do what they need to do.
Mama!
You know, they always do. I think black parents will go above and beyond and work in places that are terrible, where they feel disrespected, where they feel like oppressed, and et cetera, overworked, just to make sure that their children have a place to live, food on the table, clothes on their backs. So this is the blackest episode ever, because even though we're infuriated that she had to do that, we know that is very possible. And so because, one, he didn't tell her, like he said he was going to, that he was going to do the heist. So she never had a chance to call him or say, like, okay, like, I'm going here. But they also...
They still had
beepers.
Phones. Yeah, they had
so she wouldn't have, like,
beepers.
which was, like, crazy. I forgot. My mom used to work at a beeper store. And when
I've always felt that beepers were the dumbest fucking technological advancement. Like... It literally is. I'm gonna. I have a box, and if someone wants to reach me, they have to call a number to alert my box to leave some sort of number message like boob 8008 backwards, upside down, or whatever it is, in order for me to understand that I need to call them back from a payphone. It's dumb.
It's dumb, but I mean, they were very popular. I remember when that was her second job. When I was in elementary school, and she used to go there, and they'd be selling out like hotcakes.
Call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
If you want to page me, it's okay. You know?
Ridiculous.
But
okay, but
she never got to tell him, so he's not aware she's there. When they're doing the heist, one of the security guards notices that he's in the room. Mm-hmm. Then right as Graham walks in, they end up like beating the guy up and just knocking him unconscious. Mm-hmm. They leave. What's his name? Graham has this bright idea.
I'm going to set a fire to distract them. So.
And so, of course, it's the old fucking wooden house club thing that you could imagine. It's going up in flames. It's like a tinderbox. Everyone's running out. And unfortunately, so I wrote down that there was foreshadowing for this scene. Because the mother in the beginning, when she first brings the daughter to the club, Hannah is running around, so she tells her to leave so she can concentrate. She puts on her Walkman, has these overhead headphones, and when Hannah runs around and there's like a gate between, like an opened grate wall, between the different sides of the room, and she's like yelling at her mom, like, "Hey mom, look, I'm in the brig," or whatever. And her mom, the music's so loud she can't hear her.
Okay, this is where I have issues with this episode. Fire is a smell thing.
But maybe
you
down
could
there,
smell smoke. I, as somebody who was in a house fire, I smelled smoke before I saw the flames. So, like, if your headphones are on, they're not going to distract you from the sense of smell.
Do you think she maybe thought that was just like the kitchen? I don't know how. I mean, we don't know the layout and how far away she was, but she was farther away from the kitchen.
If something smells like burning, like I'm moving. I'm going to investigate.
Anytime that I smell smoke, I'm.
And by the time Leo goes back and realizes that like her car is there, so he's like, "Oh my God, she must be in the building somewhere." She's like laid on the ground, like there's bullshit on top of her, which. I had problems with this whole fucking scene. Like, I had problems with this whole thing. It strains credulity. The idea that she was somehow locked into this fire and she couldn't get out.
I think it's because something fell on her, like a piece of the wall or something, because there was like a desk or something on her.
But, like, how fast is this fire advancing?
Well, no, that part is where it's like, how did she not see, even by the time where a wall or something could be falling on you, you would have noticed there was fire.
Yeah,
happening. It wasn't like she wasn't like close to anything like a beam. She was kind of in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
So, and like it looks like maybe a part of the wall came down. I don't know, but unfortunately he couldn't get to her. But Graham had followed him and was supposed to be helping him get her, and he sees Graham on the side where her wall, like, there was a door. And Graham, he's like, "Where is she?" And so he points, she's like, "She's right there." And he looks at her, looks at him, and
chucks
walks
the deuces
the fuck away.
Yeah, there's a fire happening. Like, there's a fire happening. Like, I wouldn't have been in that building at all.
Where, like, if you're ever in an emergency, you know who not to ask for assistance.
Yeah, the person who's already been in a fire once.
Yeah, but you know, this is the thing.
Why the hell would I want to be back in one? I'm not going back into a fire.
Roger did not ask him to help.
It just dawned on me. If this apartment caught on fire,
it would be terrible.
Nowhere to go.
I've always looked at here, but that's why I'm always asking you if you have keys.
Well, the gate can open, but if the fire starts from right there, then
that would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
Roger was running. Ray.
That's not locked, by the way, or at least it's not locked from the inside.
Well, let's not tell people that.
No, I mean it's not locked from the. It's locked from the outside. The outside you can't get in. 'Cause I tried to get into this building when I was locked out. I could not.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
Ray was running to get his wife. Roger said, "What's going on?" He said, "Lily's still in there." He says, "Okay, I'm coming with. Where is she? We gotta find her." He volunteered, like he was a fireman, to go find her. So you can't look at my wife about to succumb to carbon monoxide poisoning. He didn't even say, "I can't get to her. I'm so sorry. Let me go get help." He looked.
He just dipped out
and said, "Deuces." I mean, I would never say that anybody has to be a hero. There are accidents that happen, and sometimes if you try to help, you're both going to end up dying. So you might need to just go get help. I'm not going to ever jump into the ocean if you fall in, because I can't swim that good, and that means we're both dying. What am I going to do? I'm going to go find a lifeguard or someone else who can swim to come get you out, so that there's not a headline of Black and Snurdy obituary because we both died in the waves. No. I would go get help, and he didn't even do that. He just walked away.
You really need to learn how to swim.
I know how to swim a little bit. I just have anxiety when I'm in the water. When I have nose plugs, it's fine. I almost drowned when I was little, and it stresses me out.
You too?
Yeah. Several times. Well, not several.
We don't have time to get into this.
Maybe 2. Anyway, he runs off, and now we can finally understand why Leo hates him and says he ruined my life. Because it wasn't that, okay, we did this heist. It wasn't that he lit the building on fire. It was that he looked that man in his eyes and said, "Deuces."
I think it's all of it. Like his wife wouldn't have died if he hadn't lit the fire. Yeah. He wouldn't have been there if he hadn't have told him about the auction. Mm-hmm. He would not have,
or if he hadn't come to him asking for
help and stuff like that. Like
it was all the things.
Roger is at fault for many things, but definitely for leaving his wife to die.
That was the worst part. Like anything else, even if he had just gotten caught, then because the thing, he wasn't a good lookout because he kept letting him get caught. This was twice at that point.
Yeah, he's not a good friend, and he's not a good.
He had to keep rushing, and that's why he accidentally left the little torch on the thing, because he's rushing around, and the guards catch it, and then his stupid Graham goes and starts beating him up. So now we're facing an assault charge, and nobody's gonna even remember you, white man, because you look like everybody else. It's me, the black man in the suit, that they're going to be able to be distinctive about. So it was a very sad state of affairs. And I will also say, one of my favorite episodes. Why? Because the last part was...
I don't have the remote, so you're going to have to just look away, because it's going to just go into the next episode.
Oh, okay. The last part was the most difficult for me. Mm-hmm. Or not the most difficult, but the best part for me. It was definitely giving... Last of Us season episode 3 the Last of Us.
Last of Us. Okay.
Episode 3, where it was just heart-wrenching and it was a very touching moment. And it's just like, family and what fathers will try to do to protect their children. And I'm sure him as a black father, because they're at the hospital, she's thinking about the mom and how she's going to be doing. We don't know that the mom's dead yet, or we don't know for sure if the mom's dead. He could have just been, telling her that he didn't know what was going on, just not to upset her. And we see Ava show up right after 2 detectives, and we know they're coming for him. So he, lovingly tells her he wants to zip up her jacket, get them ready to go, and he tells her, how things are, just giving her some key advice for life.
At least he didn't fuck off. No, he didn't leave and go on the run and not say anything.
Yeah, and then
she would have ended up in the foster care system or something like that.
Oh yeah, he had to take care of her. You could tell that everything he did was out of love for his family. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like he was being greedy. He was just, this is that way he learned how to survive, and but he didn't really want to do that. He just wanted to be able to take care of his family and move on. But my favorite part was when they had this little affirmation they would do, and they, when he tells her that, she's just gonna have to be brave, and so she starts asking him to do the affirmation.
Where's your bravery? Here. Where's your heart?
Yeah, no. Where's your bravery? Where's your strength? And then I don't remember what the last one was.
I might steal this and do this for my child.
I feel like it was very sweet.
Any godforsaken woman gives me one.
It was very sweet.
Lord knows.
And
be like, why?
And he says to her, I need you. She's like, I want to go with you really bad. I'm going to miss you, all that. And he just says, I need you to walk alone for a little while. And that just broke my heart because she wasn't walking alone for a little while. She was walking alone for
a long
24 years.
Yeah.
Almost, or let's say it's 15 years. I don't know how old she was I think she was probably like 23 when they see each other again. He tells her everything.
Yeah.
But it's just like their whole family was just ripped apart for one bad moment. His wife died a terrible death.
And it's all Roger's fault.
Yes, and I can't wait for them.
Go home, Roger.
Go home, Roger. And he was just so, he was such a douchebag.
Yeah, he really was. So, like, they built Roger up to be, like, I would want to rob Roger. Don't look.
I'm sorry.
Don't look at the fucking episode.
I'm not.
I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at myself.
I got distracted.
Anyhow, so how would you rate this episode?
I'm giving this 9.5.
Wow. Okay.
I told you this is my favorite episode so far.
Okay.
This is so far the best episode of the season.
All right.
And I think it's just because it was a very black episode. And the love story.
And it's Black History Month.
It's Black History Month. The love story, and not just him and his wife, which was a very sweet love story, but like just the whole family. It was just black love all over the place, just trying to make it. And I feel like I could definitely, like, he has not, he's not changed in my mind. Like, I always thought that he was probably a very, what's the word? Genuine, like, loyal man who just got caught up in something. And I was really hoping that it wasn't a situation where he harmed her mother in any way.
Yeah.
Because I had been taking notes while we were watching it, and when I saw she worked at the club, I was thinking, like, did she rat him out, or maybe she caught him and told the police because he lied to her or something like that? Because he was like,
no, she was just a ride or die.
She just was like loving him and accepting him and just like, I'm here to help and do whatever. And I just felt like it was a very, but it wasn't just one side. It was both of them trying to work hard for each other.
Yeah. And
for their family. And I really appreciated that. And I was very sad that this was not something that was longer. And then, of course, everything else has happened to them. But yeah, no, I thought it was a very good episode. I think he gave great backstory to them both. I'm assuming that Graham takes that diamond and changes his name.
Yeah,
and becomes who he is right now. I assume that's
how that happened. Yeah. So I would rate this like an 8.
Okay. Was it because of the fire?
It is because of the fire.
Was
like
the fire
there's no way that she wouldn't have been able to like.
Yeah.
That between the fire advancing that fast
yeah.
and her being stuck in there,
yeah.
you could smell smoke. There's no reason that she wouldn't have been able to smell the smoke.
Yeah.
And that's where she smelled it and then she gets caught underneath a bookcase or some shit like that.
That part
that strains credulity.
That part definitely felt very rushed, because I was like, by the time, say everybody gets out and then he runs back in, he had just walked out, so it couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. In 5-10 minutes, like, I know it was a tinderbox, so I think the place would have gone up quickly, but what was it made out of? Paper mache? Like, it was an old mahogany.
It was Ray and Roger were able to get the money or get the jewelry,
get out,
see the
and
car.
not just get out. They dragged that guy out.
They dragged the fucking guy out.
Which was taking time.
Which is, I don't know if you've ever dragged a body before.
It's a lot.
It is heavy.
He was dead weight. He was knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. And go outside, see the car, then go back in.
Yeah.
That's like what? Maybe 10 minutes?
I think it was like 10 minutes. It wasn't more because it wasn't like this wasn't a huge mega mansion. And from where they walked, like you could see the tunnels. It didn't feel like it would have taken you more than like 2 or 3 minutes to walk from the front of the building to the back.
I don't know.
But
I did enjoy this episode. It answered a lot of questions. I wasn't frustrated as I have been in previous episodes.
And I liked that they weren't taking a pandering approach to the racial component. They were just taking an honest approach. Like when Ray had to tell Graham, like, when he was quitting, that things are different for them. And he's like, what do you mean I'm taking so much risk? And he's like, yeah, but what do you think happens with me as a black man jumping or seen breaking into a house? Like, I could get shot anytime and arrested, and you don't have that same risk because you don't look guilty, you know? So I thought they did a good job. I hope that the next episode is just as good storyline.
Yes, I hope so too.
And there's no more flashing back. And no more talking about things that we haven't already discussed.
Yes. So
I just want to move forward.
Yes.
No more new characters.
Yeah. No new characters. No flashing back. Just moving forward with whatever happens pre, at the heist.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think that's everything. So thank you all for watching and listening to the Black and Nerdy Watch Out Now podcast, or the Black and Nerdy podcast Watch Out Now edition.
Kaleidoscope.
We will be back next Wednesday to review the next episode of Kaleidoscope. Mm-hmm. And of course, we'll be back this weekend to record another episode of the Black and Nerdy podcast proper. So until then, take it easy, keep it sleazy.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snurdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snurdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD THAT.
Will you turn the fucking thing off?
On Twitter, THATSOD_E.
I'm gonna throw.
Like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Sturdy podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together. Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.